Morning everybody. Today I'm going to show you what I've been hiding away in the fridge, in the chiller department of my fridge all through the winter. As you can see from the label, this is Williams Boncretian, and they were pips that I put into the freezer at the end of September last year, and they are actually rooted now, and I'm going to just pop them up. So as you can see, they're looking a little bit more yellow than I would like. Normally I would be taking these out probably February time, as soon as they start to sprout and they're still in the seed, but at the moment I'm so busy that they've got neglected a little bit. So I'm just going to take a few of the seedlings out so you can see that the roots have started to grow. Now as you can see, they've got quite a nice root system on the bottom. So I'm going to pop these up now into an old seed tray that I had years ago. I used to buy bedding plants. I don't go down that route anymore. So I've got some compost. I won't be using my own compost for potting these on because they're so delicate, but then when they're ready to be put into a bigger pot, I will be using my homegrown compost, because that will prepare them ready for going into the woodland later on. Right, so we're all potted up. They look a little bit weak and feeble at the moment. I'm going to water them in, and then I'm going to leave them outside during the day, and I'm going to bring them in at night. And the reason for bringing them in is because if I leave them outside, you can guarantee that the mice will just basically eat the tops off and leave you just with a little bit of stem. I've had that happen to me so many times, so I've learnt now to bring them in and put them somewhere high up where the mice can't climb up and get them. So I've managed to get 7. You'll notice that some of them have still got their seed pod casing attached to them, like this one here. As the leaves start to unfurl, they'll just fall off naturally. So if you do decide to grow some seeds like this, some pips, don't be tempted to try and prise them off, because you can very easily damage the new shoots. These leaves that you can see at the moment are actually the seed leaves. They're not the proper leaves. The proper leaves will start to grow a darker green, and once they start to grow, you know that you're past the first hurdle with them. So they're all watered in, and hopefully now they'll start to grow. I'm expecting out of the 7 probably to get 3, maybe 4 if I'm lucky, that actually survive and make it into adulthood. I'm going to take you off now and show you some of the ones that I grew last year that are doing nicely. But before we do that, I'll just show you the seed tray that I prepared yesterday. I'm growing some more Jack Montii Himalayan birch trees with the seeds from one of our own trees, and as you can see, they're just in a normal seed tray, and I've sown the seeds on top, and you don't cover them. These seeds need light to germinate them. Just make sure that they stay moist. And again, I bring them outside during the day, and I take them back into the polytunnel in the evenings, but I will put a wire grill over the top of this tray, because even during the daytime the blackbirds like to have a dig around in any sort of moist soil, so they could end up disrupting the lot. So just a piece of wire mesh just placed over the top, and that will stop the birds from having a dig. And while we're over here as well, I'll just show you the grafted cherry trees. These are ones that I did around February time. This one is a double graft. It's on a Pink Perfection scion, or it has a Pink Perfection scion should I say, with a wild cherry root stock. we get a lot of wild cherry trees just popping up because we have a lot of the big trees in the woodland, and so when the birds eat the cherries, obviously then the seed goes through their body and they poop it out, and more often than not we get lots of seedlings popping up. So I pot them up, and then when they're about pencil thickness I use them as a graft in rootstock. So here's another one as well that I did earlier this year, another Pink Perfection. That one looks like it's taking because it's starting to leaf up, which is always a good sign, but I'm not in a rush to remove the pegs and the tape. I'll leave those on until at least summertime, or when the tape starts to bulge as the graft fuses together, it will expand, so then I'll know it's ready to take. Next to it I have a small, that's Pear and Apple, another flowering cherry, but unfortunately that one's not looking too good, so I think that will be a fail, but we'll see. Okay, so walking out to what I call the vegetable garden stroke rose garden. This was the rose garden over here, but I'm moving the roses now into the main garden so that I can actually see them without having to come out here. Now here we have, oh no, this isn't last year's pears, this is the pears from the year before. So these, I've put them in like a trench system. These are in a raised bed. Basically I'm just waiting to see how they do, because often when you grow pears from pip, because they don't come true to form, you can end up with just a prickly wild type of pear, which obviously is not really a lot of good, so I wouldn't be planting those out. So here we have the two pears that I grew last winter time and potted up last February time. So there's one here and that's the second one, and they're about a foot tall now. So if I can find a space for them in the woods, I'll probably be planting those out maybe in the autumn time, winter time this year. So coming back into the orchard area, I just want to show you this tree. This is a pear that I grew from seed, or probably maybe a good 8 or 9 years ago. This is one of the very first ones that I grew, and I hadn't realised at the time that not all pear trees grow from pip to be the same variety as the one that you plant. So anyway, as this tree grew, it was extremely prickly. The stems were like a wild plum or something like that, really thorny. So and then the pears, when it did actually start to fruit, the pears weren't very nice at all. So what I did was last year, probably the year before, I grafted a new variety onto each of the stems, if you can see that. I don't know if it's showing up very well in this light. There we go, look. It's not the prettiest graft, but it seems to have taken because they've all leaved up now. So I've got 5 sort of stems growing from this, what would be a nice big root stock. There'll be lots of root growth down there, so there should be lots of energy going into these new growths. So in order to create the new stems that would be suitable for me to graft onto, what I had to do was I had to chop the tree down, and I did that last summertime whilst there was still some growing time left in the year. And then this stump base started to throw up new shoots. I picked out the best shoots of them, So I've got 2 on this little bit and 3 on the bigger side, and left them to grow through the winter, and then the next springtime, February, March time, I grafted a different variety onto the top. So that looks to have been a success, happily. I will be showing you in some of my later videos how to graft fruit trees. I did do a little bit of grafting on roses, but to be honest it's such a faff, and I found that the success rate was so bad that I don't really do that anymore. I have got some rather strange combinations which I'll be showing you later on in the year. I have actually got a climbing rose that I chopped down, and I've grafted 2 different varieties of rose onto that original rootstock. So it can be done, but as I say, it's not really the best method for me. Oh look, there's my big pile of birch ready for when I make my brooms. The only problem is I can't do a lot with it at the moment because I know there's a bird nesting in there. So anyway, here's another pear tree, another one that I grafted a few years ago. But yes, you should have a go at grafting if you feel so inclined, or definitely have a go at growing some fruit pips, because basically it's so simple. You just get a small plastic bag and you get some sand, just make it so it's damp with water, pop your pips into there, usually September time. As soon as you've eaten the fruit you can do that, and then pop them into the crisper part of the fridge, which is the bit where you put your salad, at the bottom of the fridge, and just leave them there, and then start checking them around February time. Make sure the sand hasn't dried out. If it's dried out too much, just add a few drops of water, but not too much. So then when they start to sprout, you can do what I've just done with the ones I've planted up. Just pop them into some compost, some sort of nice fine compost, and then grow them on, but just be wary that they are very delicate at that stage. So I'll just do a quick pan around the garden. I've had to put a load of wire meshes around my roses because unfortunately we have an awful problem with voles, rabbits, deer, all trying to dig them up, and moles. We get quite a lot of moles that are tunnelling under the ground, so it's an ongoing battle with them, to be honest. So this year I have had to spend quite a bit of money and buy rather a lot of rolls of wire, but hopefully it seems to be doing the trick anyway. So I'll call that it for now, and hopefully you'll watch my videos that I've done up to now. Unfortunately, because this is a new channel, I am finding that I'm struggling to get new subscribers. I suppose it's a bit of a mishmash really, because some of my videos are about trees and grafting and planting or growing, and then a lot of my videos are going to be about my roses, because I do grow a lot of roses. So hopefully you'll find something that appeals to you. But yeah, I would definitely appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, just follow me along for a little while, and if it's not for you, then it's not for you, but hopefully there'll be something in there for everybody, because I really want to share this beautiful place with you. We've been working on it now for a good 15 years, and it's really becoming a bit of a paradise. It's hard work. I spend the whole of my summer looking after the garden. Unfortunately I can't keep on top of the weeds because the soil is so fertile, but sometimes you just got to let them be and not worry about the weeds too much. as long as your plants are still growing. That's the main thing. So have a great day, have a lovely Easter, and that's bye from me. Bye.